Kind of look back to the time when I was 16, 17 and first starting to recognise who I was as a young gay man and looking for the opportunities that were available to me at that point. And in Birmingham at that point, there were 3 venues. So there was a bar called The Jester, which was on Holloway Head, and it was a downstairs bar. And it was notorious in the city, and people were, would speak about the Jester in hushed tones. The Jester, that place where queers go. There was a club called the Nightingale.
Yeah.
Well, this is an earlier version of the Nightingale to the one that you're familiar with. It was just round the corner from the Jester at the side of the Hippodrome. And to get into the Nightingale, you used to have to knock on the door, just like a speakeasy in the 1920s, or you'd knock on the door and a little sliding door would open and look at you when you were let in or not let in. And then the third venue was a venue called the Jug, which was the other side of town. It was over in Snow Hill. And the Jug was a very, very exotic place. It was a place where transvestites often frequented the place. Every night of the week there was bingo. People wouldn't talk about the fact that they were gay. People would certainly not talk about the fact that they went to a gay bar. If you saw somebody that you knew in one of those venues in the streets, you wouldn't acknowledge that you knew them. You certainly wouldn't say hello, because that was a tacit acknowledgement that you knew them from this other world, this kind of very secret world. And that's, let me think, I was 16 in 1982, so you'll have to do those maths. That's not so very long ago. And if you look at what the gay scene is like in Birmingham now, a very diverse scene, a very visible scene, a very open scene, you can see things that are a lot different. They're a lot different in my own lifetime.
That's a really interesting question. That feels like an endpoint of where we'd like to be in society, where we are just individuals and, sexual orientation, gender identity is a spectrum, so people, and a fluid spectrum, people should be able to move across those spectrums throughout life as they see fit. The other side of it is, there is a difference, and we should celebrate difference, and some people want to be around their own sometimes. So it should be, people should literally be allowed to live their lives as they want to. This is the ideal world where those barriers don't exist, and if I want to go and hang around with LGBT people, I should. If I want to embrace gay people, we all live together. And I think on some level that's where we seem to be, on some level, but not everybody's there. And it's kind of, when everyone's there, that's the kind of thing you just described, isn't it? So ideally, yes, but I think, identity is important and our differences are important to us, and I think we should be able to celebrate them and we should be able to own them and accept them. Pretty much.
Mum gave me a number. She says, I've rang these people you can talk to, and then I remember them being on the phone, like saying, you can come down to our meetings, like we're a really safe place, you can open up and everything, but I never went, so I feel like at that time I was still confused, still.
I mean, the answer is inevitably yes. You know, I mean, just going back to my own experience of being at school in the 1970s, being a child in the late 1960s and early 1970s, the kind of just widespread, commonplace ways in which gay men and lesbians would have been described, or just, you know, popular discourse around those things is completely different. That's not to say that you know, we live in a society or a culture now where there is complete unanimous acceptance for gay men, for lesbians, for trans people. Things feel better, but they feel better for me subjectively, because I have you know, a history and an experience that makes it possible for me to recognise and be sensitive to how things used to be 40 years ago, almost 50 years ago now.
I am happy now here. I can be comfortable myself here. I think Birmingham is such diverse, like you said, and such a brilliant atmosphere. And where I am happy right now, and I can be the man who I want to be. But I'm happy.
Oh, that's good.
I'm happy.
And people should be able to explore and be who they want to be, how they want to be with who they want to be.
And if you look at what the gay scene is like in Birmingham now, a very diverse scene, a very visible scene, a very open scene, you can see things that are a lot different than
50 years of freedom. Also big up to every single trans, femme, butch, non-conforming bitch. I love y'all. Bye.